everyone, and a good afternoon to you again. My name is Josiah Katonga, and I am the Managing Director of California State PTA. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. Simultaneous interpretation is being provided today's webinar in Spanish. We'd like to thank Lisette for agreeing to do that. Lisette is one of our board of managers here with California State PTA, so thank you, Lisette. As a result of interpretation, everyone must pick a language. So please take a minute and please click the globe button at the bottom of the screen and choose your preferred language. Give everybody just a little bit of that, a bit of time to do that. Again, please do pick a language. Click the globe button at the bottom of the screen and choose your preferred language. This call is being offered in English and in Spanish. If you do choose Spanish, make sure to mute your original audio. Another reminder that this webinar is also being recorded. All right, well, once again, thank you so much for being here to learn more from our partner, ScholarShare, which is administered by the ScholarShare College Savings Plan Investment Board, a board of the State Treasurer's Office. Today, we're going to be learning about the program Calkids. Calkids launched in 2022 and was launched by the state of California with a clear mission: make it easier for more children to save for their future education. Our partnership rests upon the shared belief that every child does have a bright future. We will have time for questions at the end, so please make a note of any questions that you might have during the call. Save your questions, if that's okay, until the end of the presentation. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Dana Salas, an outreach specialist. In her role, Dana works with the public to expand higher educational opportunities for students by providing outreach to families and communities about available higher education savings information. Dana, I will pass the floor to you, and thank you so much for all that you do for children in our great state.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So today, Calkids will be focusing on that. We will also be talking about the ScholarShare 529 program as it goes hand in hand. As you see in the title, Calkids is a program for California children. So let's begin and talk about how this program can benefit your students and your kids. Okay, so the Calkids program is a California state program that helps children save for college or career training after high school. It is overseen by the ScholarShare Investment Board that's chaired by the California State Treasurer. So you can see that this program is a state program and you could trust it because it is coming from the state. And it's not just a program that started, let's say, 5-6 years ago. It's been around for over 25 years. So it's a reputable program. Now, what do we know about college savings? So there have been studies made that children with a college savings account are 3 times more likely to attend college. Another study shows that children with a college savings account are 4 times more likely to graduate from college. So this is all really great information because the more you save, the better, the more money you have. But also the students, they feel like they have something set aside for them, and that motivates them to pursue their education in the future. So Calkids has 2 groups who are eligible to receive free money from the state of California. So the first group is all California newborns and all low to moderate income public school students. It's important to note that all California newborns are the ones that have been born on or after July 1st of 2022. Low to moderate income students, they have a special eligibility criteria, and we'll be going through that and what that is in a few slides. But we'll start off talking about the California newborns. Before we start about talking about those two groups, we want to mention that there are steps to determine eligibility. So if you think you may be eligible, there are ways to find out. The first step is these notification letters. So you may have received one in the mail, but basically it lets you know that your child is eligible to receive a Calkids account. If you're not sure, or maybe you misplaced your letter, we have our eligibility tool at calkids.org, and we'll be sharing these links later. But on the website, there is an eligibility tool. So if you navigate to the website, you will scroll down and you will see this blue box. You click it and you get a pop-up that has, it has a few questions. If your child is a student or a newborn, and then it'll ask you a few questions. And at the end, it'll say, congratulations, you're eligible. Or it'll say, unfortunately, you're not eligible. So it's as easy as that. So it doesn't hurt to check. So let's talk about the newborns and what makes them eligible and what they get. So eligibility for newborns. So it's very simple, but it's basically each child born in California on or after July 1st of 2022 gets a Calkids award, regardless of income status of the family. So if they have been born on or after that date, automatically they get a Calkids account. We do work with the California Department of Public Health to provide us a little bit of birth information. That way we can award babies with a Calkids account. If you think you may be eligible or you're newborn, just wait 90 days after birth to have the birth registered and for them to be included in the Calkids program. So it's easy as that. Nothing really to worry about. It's just if they're born, they get an account with Calkids. So it's easy as that. Now, this is what the Calkids Award for newborns is. So now the first group, or to start, let me start over. So when this program first launched in July of 2022, it awarded babies $25. Not too much, but it's a seed start for families to start thinking about how they're going to save for college or pay for college in the future. Now, there was some legislation that changed. Now, every child born on or after July 1st of 2023 gets $100. Now, it's still a seed deposit, so it's something to get the parents started so that they could start saving for college. Now, there are a few incentives. So if if the family claims the Calkids account, they get $25 extra. If the families decide to link a new or existing Scholarship 529 account, they would get an additional $50. So in total, a newborn could potentially get up to $175 if they have been born after July 1st of 2023, or depending on their birth, if they were born during that first year, July 1st, 2022, and June 30th, 2023, they could get up to $100. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but it is a seed start. So that's what we want to help families understand. that it's a way for them to get started in their savings. That way they can have a start and keep going from there. Now, I did want to mention briefly before going into the Students Award. Now, we want families to save money. You cannot directly save with Calkids, like you cannot put money into Calkids because it is a scholarship, but we'll talk about the Scholarship 529 program soon in a few slides. So that's the way that you can save directly. So we'll talk about that shortly. So now let's talk about the Student Award with the Calkids program. There are a few eligibility guidelines for low to moderate income students. So basically for the Calkids program, those students that are certified to receive free and reduced lunch programs through the local control funding formula, the LCFF, they are certified to receive this, then they would most likely be eligible for the Calkids program. There are a few other factors that the LCFF generally includes. So the National School Lunch Program, if you submitted an alternative household income form, perhaps student participates in CalFresh or CalWorks. There's also English learner status. And if a student is homeless or if they are a foster student, they get additional funds. So all this means that we do not have an income scale. Like you cannot say, oh, I make a certain amount of money, I should be eligible. Doesn't work that way because we work with the California Department of Education, and whatever they have provided to us in data from this local control funding formula is what we determine to have eligibility for the Calkids program. So most of the time, if you have your LCFF, your formula, your forms submitted to receive these programs, you'll most likely be eligible for the Calkids program. So that's pretty much how that would work. Now, if you have any questions regarding your forms, you may want to talk to your school in the district to make sure that they submitted these forms, because you signed them and everything, but make sure that they submitted them on to the California Department of Education. Now we're going to break it down a little bit more for the students, because to start off with the Calkids program, the first year it launched, it awarded students all over California in eligible students from 1st to 12th grade in public school. So it was about 3.4 million students all over different California counties. And it was only from that fall academic census day 21-22. So if you have students, kids, children that were in school during that year, they may be eligible. And if you have kids that may have graduated that year, they may still be eligible for Calkids, even if they have graduated high school. And beyond, there is another group that's eligible for Calkids. But just want to make sure, because if you have children that are in college already, they may still be eligible for Calkids, and that's a good thing. So feel free to share the word with those that you know that are older now. Now, every year moving forward, after that initial year that Calkids awarded students, every year moving forward, and the academic year 22-23 and beyond, only eligible first graders are now being awarded a Calkids account. So this means that Calkids is just a one-time award. You can only get it once. If you were in school and had all your forms submitted, if that was the case, then they're most likely going to be eligible for Calkids. If they are a public school student. So if you have any more questions about this eligibility, feel free to enter them in the chat and we can go through them at the end. Now, the Calkids award structure. So initially, if a student is eligible, they can claim $500 automatically. Now, if a student is identified as a foster youth, they would get an additional $500. If a student is identified as unhoused, they would get an additional $500. Some students may have $1,000. Some students may have up to $1,500 because maybe they meet all these criteria. But in most cases, students will generally get the 500 initial deposit. And if maybe they are identified as one of these, they would get a little extra. So if you have claimed an account already or in the process of doing that, you may see that your initial deposit may be greater, and that's because maybe they were identified as one of these. Now, one thing to note is that with Calkids, the money is saved in a savings account that does grow a little bit with interest. So the money is growing a little bit. It's never going to fall below $500, but it will get some growth over the years. So it's not just going to stay at 500. It might grow a little bit throughout the years. So let's talk a little bit more about how you could use these funds, where you could use them at. So the qualified Calkids expenses, they could be used for higher education expenses that are qualified, like tuition and fees, books and supplies, computer equipment, some room and board costs if they are required to live on campus. Now, the Calkids award is processed as a scholarship, so it should not affect financial aid, and it should not be counted on as income, will not be counted for your taxes or anything. We do not require any tax ID numbers, so it's not going to be affected for you that way. And it is just a scholarship that in the future it'll be sent directly to the higher institution that your children decide to attend. And the school at that point, the financial aid office, will distribute it as they see the need. So maybe they have a balance, they'll apply it to the balance, or your child may want to talk to the financial aid office and ask them or tell them they have a Calkids check coming. They want to use it specifically for books. So they could have that conversation in advance. But basically, it's treated as a scholarship and it should not affect financial aid. So that was mainly the information about the Calkids program, what it is, who it's for, and what you could use it for. Now, briefly, I'll go back because I did want to mention that with the Calkids program, as soon as a student is 17 years of age, they could start using the funds. They have until the age of 26 to use it all. So it's important for your children to claim their award, because at the age of 26, if they haven't claimed it or used it, it just goes back to the California fund and it goes away for them. So it's important for them to claim it. It's their money. They've been awarded. So it's important for them to use it by the age of 26. And they could use it at schools that are accredited all over the world if they travel, study abroad, as long as the school participates with the FAFSA program. The FAFSA is the program that gives financial aid and everything. So as long as that school, like a technical, vocational school, private school, all over the world is eligible, as long as they're accredited. If you have any questions regarding that and how and where you could use the funds, feel free to chat them in. So that was mainly the information about the Calkids program, but we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about the Scholarship 529 account because it goes hand in hand with the Calkids program. Now, remember the Calkids is a scholarship, so you can't directly put money into it, but some families want to keep contributing, and the way to do so is to save with the Scholarship 529 account. So let's talk about what that is. So what is a 529 plan? So a 529 plan is designed specifically to save for future higher education expenses. Many states have their own 529 plan. 529, a scholarship 529 is California's official 529. And many banks may have a 529 as well, but we are the official one of California. Now, with the 529, all your earnings, your savings that you have, over time, those earnings grow tax-free. So that means more money for college in the long run because you don't have to pay taxes on your earnings. When you're ready to use the funds, the distributions are 100% tax-free when you use it for qualified higher education expenses. So like your books and supplies, your fees, tuition, computer equipment, those type of things. If you happen to use the money for something other than higher education, you would be taxed and penalized, but only on your earnings. So this is an optional way to save for college. It's not required, but it is another resource for you that is available to save for college because of the perks that the government gives of 100% tax-free growth. That is a very good perk to have because more money for college. Now again, the funds can be used at eligible schools nationwide and abroad. You use it for books and fees, supplies, things like that. For a 529 plan specifically, anyone who is a US citizen or resident at least 18 years old with a valid social security number or tax ID number can open a 529 account. So it is a little bit more specific here. So if you are interested in opening an account, you just have to meet these requirements to open an account with a 529. The minimum is $0, so it's not a big commitment, but if you want to keep saving with more, that would be your choice, but it's just $0 to open an account. Now again, just want to make sure that you know, we are California's official college savings plan, and we have been around for over 25 years now, actually. And there's a little statistic here that shows over 13 billion in assets. And that just shows you that families are using our plan to save for college. They have their money invested here. And it's one of the largest 529 plans in the country. So it's a program you can trust that families are using. And there's many success stories that I hear all the time about how families use this to pay for their child's education. Again, we are overseen by the Scholarship Investment Board, the same that oversees Calkids. So we do work together to help families pay for college in the future. Now, again, with the 529, it is a savings program and you will be investing your funds. But this is just an example of how your money can grow over time. So the blue just shows what you've been contributing over the years. The orange shows your earnings and the growth potential. So it's a hypothetical example, but it just shows you how saving can really add up over time. And the more money you have for college, the better because it's so expensive these days. So we're just trying to help families become aware that saving for college is an option and that this program is available to all families around the country, but specifically here in California. Now a little bit more into this. So the blue shows the growth potential with the 529 because of the tax-free earnings. The orange is other taxable investment accounts that you may use to save for college that are taxed. And the gray is a personal savings account you may have at your bank. Doesn't really grow much, but it's there, you're saving. But with the scholarship, you can get more money for college because of the tax advantages. So just something to think about if you're wanting to save for college because you have the Calkids seed deposit. You want to keep that going. So this is just another way for you to keep saving money. Now, here are a few ways that you can help as parents. Just share the information through other family members, you know, other groups in the community. Let them know. We do have a Calkids toolkit that you could utilize where they have flyers and digital content, different things that you could use to share the information through your social media. Share it with other parents. Let them know that the Calkids program is out there for families to save for college or pay for college. And if you would like other help, the Calkids Toolkit has a lot of great ideas on there. Now, here are a few resources for you. So the calkids.org website's a good start so that you could check your eligibility. We have our YouTube page because there are videos that you could watch about Scholarshare and Calkids. You can be more informed and you could see how exactly to claim your account. We do have our social media platforms where we have updates on the program. So stay tuned because sometimes we have promotions and updates. So it's good to stay aware. And we have our Scholarshare 529 website. If you're interested in opening up a Scholarshare 529 account, that's where you would go. And if you just want to talk to someone about a question, you can call the 800 number. You can also access the Contact Us tab on Calkids if you want to email a question over to us as well. And don't forget to use the online toolkit to share this information with other parents and family members that you may know that you think may be eligible for Calkids or would like to get more information about Scholarshare. But for now, this is mostly all the information I have regarding the Calkids program and Scholarshare. So we thank you so much for attending. And I guess now we'll open it up to questions, Josiah.
Thank you so much for that great presentation. Dana, now I will ask everyone. We saw quite a few questions going into the chat. All great questions. Feel free to put them in the Q&A and Casey and I, Casey is California State PTA's Director of Development and Programs. Her and I will go back and forth in the Q&A section. So first question for you, Dana, is there a way for our local schools to give us an eligibility list so we can reach out to these parents in a more efficient manner?
So we don't have a list of students that are eligible. It's all based on the SSID, the statewide student ID number. So a school may give out a list of SSIDs, but I think that would be more internal, like a teacher might have that. So we wouldn't be able to just give a list to anyone,
Okay.
but maybe they could work with the college counselors or career techs, and the SSID is what will determine or what would help them see eligibility. So they just need that number to check eligibility.
Okay. I will ask a couple more and then turn it over to Casey. Another question that we have is, my nephew was in school in 2021 and 2022 and graduated in 2023. Is he still eligible?
He
So
may be
another
eligible.
eligibility question.
Yes, he may still be eligible. That seems like about the grade range or the year range where Calc is awarded students. So yeah, if you're unsure, just go to the calkids.org eligibility tool, plug in the SSID number, and it will tell you yes or no. And since they graduated already, that SSID, he can find it maybe on his transcripts, or he may need to call the school to get that number if he doesn't already have it.
Awesome. Another question. I already added my newborn in Calkids, but when I want to add my older kid, that she was born in 2018, I cannot add her to my account. What is the reason for this?
Let's see, a 2018, I don't know how old they would be now. Can't do my math. But basically, for the Newborn Cal Kids Award, it's all newborns after July 1st of 2022. So for the 2018, they wouldn't be eligible for the Newborn Award, but perhaps when the 2018 child enters first grade, they may be eligible for Cal Kids. but it will be determined on that LCFF formula. If they're eligible, then they might be eligible for Calkids. So that might be the reason why they haven't been added, is because they may not be eligible or they may not be in first grade yet. I can't be sure.
Okay. I'll pass it on to Casey.
Okay, let's see. What if by the age of 18, the child decides they no longer want to go to college? Do they still receive that money?
Mhm. Yeah, so the age 18 rule for the 529, maybe I don't know if they want to, if they're talking about the 529, but for 529s, if a child decides not to go to college, and let's say you have your money saved over those years, that's still your money and you could use it for other purposes. It's just that if you withdraw it and use it for something other than education, you will be taxed only on your earnings. So all the earnings will be penalized only. So don't worry about losing all your funds. Now, there are a few other things that have been in legislation, like rolling it over to a Roth IRA, using it for loan repayment and private K through 12 education. So there's a few other ways to use the money if your child doesn't go to college. Now for Calkids, the 18 age doesn't matter as long as they're age 26. At that point, if they decide not to use it, then they won't be able to access their Calkids funds after that. But if they're 18, maybe they change their mind and they would still be able to use Calkids fund as long as they're 26.
Okay, is there a way for parents to find out if they already filled out the application in case they don't remember?
They may want to check with the district, maybe the school, but the district, they would have all that information, and that would be the best bet to check with them if they have those forms on file.
Okay, and let's see, what are the benefits of opening a ScholarShare 529 versus a different 529 account within California? For example, College America.
Mhm. Well, the main thing is with Scholarship 529, it does work directly with Calkids. So if you're eligible for Calkids, you can kind of group them together. Now, the other side of it is Scholarship 529 is officially California's 529. So we have those bragging rights. Also, there are low fees associated with our 529. And like I mentioned, we're very top rated and one of the largest 529 plans in the country, but it will come down to the family's decision because of the investments. The rates may be different in other programs, and there might be some pros and cons, but for the most part, Scholarship 529 is highly rated and one of the best 529s in the country.
Thank you. Got another here about the vocational program. Does it need to be a junior college or can it be private?
It could be private as long as that school participates with the FAFSA. So it could be any school, private or public, as long as they participate with the FAFSA. So as long as they are able to do that, then that would be fine.
Let's.
I actually think I have one that has been asked by a few people. And it is about, again, it's a 529. How is CalKids different from a traditional 529 account? Can CalKids be rolled into an existing 529 account for the child? And what's the benefit of opening Scholarshare 529 versus just a typical 529 in California, such as College America?
Mhm. Yeah, so first, the difference is CalKids is a scholarship and it's awarded by the state. So it's set aside in an account that the student cannot use until they're 17 and up to when they're 26. So it's set aside. You cannot directly contribute to CalKids because it is a scholarship. So it's owned by the state. Now, Scholarship 529 is basically a 529. So it's an account designed specifically to save for higher education. So families would open up on their own initiative a 529 account. They would save money, deposit throughout the years, and save over time. So those are the main differences. So Calkids is just automatically awarded to a student if they're eligible as a scholarship, while Scholarshare is a savings account that families would open up on their own to save for college. Now maybe you could repeat like one of the other parts of the question. Forget what you said, the last part.
Okay, yeah, the benefit of opening 529 versus a different 529 in California, such as an example as College America.
Yeah. So also I remembered with the Scholarshare and Calkids, you can't put the Calkids funds into Scholarshare. Like it doesn't work that way. They will be separate. One of the perks is that when you open up a scholarship 529, if that's what you decide, you could see that Calkids balance and your scholarship balance all in the same profile. So you could see like side by side your growth and how that's doing together, because we do work together with Scholarshare, which you wouldn't be able to kind of pair and compare other
Mm,
529s out there. But I mean, basically with the Scholarship 529, it is California's plan. We have very low fees and very highly rated versus other 529s in the country. It's just a matter of choosing which one they would like to use.
thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Just to confirm, where do they find the student's SSID number?
Mhm. Yeah, so there are a number of ways. If the parents have access to their parent portals, it could be either through Parent Square, Aries, whatever their school may use. They may be able to log into that and see their SSID numbers on their child's profile. If they don't have access to that, then they could call the school directly and ask for that. They can ask their teachers or perhaps their counselors, just some staff member may be able to give them that SSID number.
And then it looks like there's a few questions surrounding the application process. Is that found on your website, and can you direct them to where?
For the Calkids program, yes, if you navigate to the calkids.org, there will be a button that says claim account, and from there they would go through the steps. If they would like to first see how that process is, we do have some videos that walk them through the steps of claiming the account, which we will send you links, and you could send that out to families and they could just watch it on at their convenience. For the Scholarship 529 program, they would need to go to the scholarship529.com and open an account through there.
Okay, and then, sorry, it seems to be a lot of personal questions, individual questions about each individual scenario. Can we share your email or phone number, your contact information to answer these
Yeah,
questions?
that would be fine. You could email would be best.
Okay, so we can share Dana's email after the webinar.
Absolutely. Why don't we take then a couple of more? One of the things as I look through the Q&A, Dana, everybody's wondering where you can use this money. So there's one question that asks, can money be used at a technical school? I think another question asks, can I use it out of state? Can I use it out of the country? Could you talk to us a little bit about that in terms of where you can actually use this money at?
Yes, so you could use it worldwide at any school that's accredited and that works and participates with the FAFSA program. So the FAFSA is the application that gives financial aid and everything, but they work with schools, and they could be a technical school, vocational school, private school, your typical four-year degree schools, private, in-state, out-of-state. So the possibilities are really endless with that. It's just as long as the school participates with FAFSA that they could use the money there.
Any other last minute questions from you, Casey?
Let me look through here. Is it counted against their social security income?
The Calkids program should not affect any benefits or anything like that. This is just a scholarship. Now, the Scholarship 529 program is something that families would open up on their own, so it would be counted as an asset. So I'm not sure how that would affect Social Security, but I know it has an impact on financial aid. But it is very financial aid friendly, as it has a very minimal impact on it. But those are the ways that it could affect potentially.
All right. I think we're seeing a lot of questions about how to look up SSID, a bunch of eligibility questions. We will definitely be sending this presentation as well as some resources for everybody to be able to look up eligibility and their SSIDs. Um, any final thoughts or questions on that, Casey, before we start wrapping up?
Can charter schools, children that attend charter schools use Calkids?
Many charter schools have children that are eligible for Calkids. They just have to be like considered like public schools with the CDE. So as long as that charter school may be working with the CDE, then yes. But in private schools, unfortunately, are not eligible for the student awards.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, outside of that, thank you so much, Dana, for joining us today and for this amazing program. And thank you everybody who did join the call. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Manny, in the background. Lisette, thank you so much for offering translation services for us today, and for you all. Thank you all for helping us move our mission of positively impacting children and families in this beautiful state of California. So. With that, we will be ending the call. Again, look out for some information. We will be sending out Dana's information. We'll be sending out, there's some videos that she has. There's a ton of resources. So look out for that. And outside of that, I wish everybody a fantastic week and a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Thank you again, Dana.